Hello, I'm Graham Osborne, and this is a GSA election candidate interview. I'm here with Marlon, who is running for Vice President, Wellbeing and Community. Marlon, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. Thank you. My name is Marlon Freeman. I'm currently a student. I'm studying a master's in public health here at York, and I'm also a member of the Wentworth College. I'm come from the United States. I was born in California, and then I moved to Arizona for my undergraduate degree. I studied nutritional sciences, and right now doing public health. I've always been really interested in um, life sciences, sort of the well-being of people in like a holistic view.
Thank you. So first up, why are you running for this role?
I think that's the question, probably the most important one. I would say that I'm running for this position because I think COVID has highlighted a lot of major areas in our lack of well-being support for students on campus. I think we learned, the fact that self-isolation is really tough. And especially for as an international student, I have that sort of little bit of understanding with a majority of the graduate students that come from all over the world. And I really want to be able to sort of take into consideration a person's whole wellness. So that includes sort of person's physical health, person's emotional health, and a person's social health. And I want to make sure that the GSA really keeps that at the forefront when they're making any policy decisions or anything like that. And that's my goal, and that's why I'm running.
Thank you. If you're elected, what will your top three priorities be?
Okay, so for me, I think my top three priorities would be my main one is something I'm liking to kind of call a back to normal. So I want to ensure that students are able to transition to a normality that suits them. I think all of these online events were really good to sort of be able to communicate in a virtual world. And I think a lot of students first coming to a new place, I think virtual meeting is a great way to reduce anxiety for people that have social anxiety. So I wanted to sort of make a nice transition to being able to still continue our online virtual events, but then pair them off with an opportunity pending, what the restrictions are, but the opportunity to actually meet in person. So back to normal is one. The second one is an emphasis on green spaces on campus. I think maybe a lot of other candidates have said it too, but I think something that makes mine different is that there's so much grassy areas around Wentworth that are unutilized. And a lot of the times when off campus students come who are still a part of Wentworth and are members of the GSA, they kind of don't feel like there's a place for them to go. A lot of the other colleges have really nice areas like picnic tables and stuff. So I want to play that up and make sure that the GSA sort of ask the university and make sure that they give us action steps on what they're going to be doing, and also collaborate with Wentworth to make sure that these spaces come up within the first term of the next year. And then my last one is sort of increasing safety on campus. And I think when it comes to safety, there's a lot of new spaces and in new areas that people are trying to explore. So I think a better presence of security on campus is needed to know that there are people there, and also do want to designate safe space areas on campus. So depending on places that stay open later or other college receptions for students to know that if they're on a part of campus that they're not sure about, they don't feel comfortable, they can step into any college reception and ask for assistance. And those are my three things.
Thank you. How would you make sure that GSA students are at the heart of the community?
I think GSA students, we really need to sort of ask and get a sense of what is needed and what makes students be their best selves. And I think that's something that everyone tries to do, but I think that there is a sense of when you're coming in as a student. um, in the previous role, that making sure that students are listened to. I think we're going to be able to have a better opportunity to use students by doing more surveys, getting in touch with them. Hopefully, we're able to actually go out and sort of talk to people right off, essentially, for lack of better words, like right off the street and get their valued opinions and go into their spaces. Because I think a trouble we had in making them the heart of the GSA was we had to pull people in because of the circumstances, and that's really difficult when people really don't know what's going on or not sure what they're comfortable with. So I think making sure the GSA goes out to students and always has them, I think that will be the way that GSA makes the students like the heart of the GSA.
And what would you do to improve student welfare?
Student welfare, I think it's a tricky subject because there are limited resources. So I think first and foremost, highlighting what the GSA can offer, one, and then two, highlighting what the university can also offer, I think is a good way to sort of ensure that students' welfare are being kept up. And also, there's also many community resources from the York City Council that can be amplified. So I think GSA can take the lead on amplification, because sometimes it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about sort of seeing what can be fixed and what's already there, before we start trying to create these elaborate new initiatives when there's things that are already working. It's a lack of knowledge for students.
If you're elected, how will you ensure that you keep up to date with the current issues affecting students?
So I think a way to keep up with the current issues for students is when we ever are having events, ensuring that there's feedback for those events. So we know if what we did was good, what we did is bad, and also they have a chance to address any concerns. Also, another thing is that we have our network leaders, and network leaders really are able to kind of go into the different groups and talk to those members in a more informal way and have them sort of report back to what needs to be fixed. And I think a third way, although we get a lot of surveys throughout the year for a lot of different things. I think survey and that data collection is really valuable because we have the opportunity to sort of, in an anonymized way, get a lot of students' feedback.
How would you work with the university, with colleges, and with USU to improve student well-being?
I think from my personal experience, this year there was a very separate and kind of compartmentalized way of approaching student well-being this academic year. And I think ensuring that we support each other in all the ways possible. USU essentially is supposed to be, it is available for everyone. And I think that graduate students kind of didn't understand what they could do and what they could not do. And I think ensuring that there is that collaboration with USU and the GSA, I think that needs to be increased to ensure that students are able to socialize, able to participate in sports if they choose to. And then also all the different mental health aspects on campus. I think that could be a good way for us to collaborate. And then when it comes to the university, I think just ensuring that if there is a sort of conversation that's happening with students, the GSA needs to be there. They always are adamant about getting students, but they end up probably more than likely just picking the UC representatives because they're the main ones. They do serve a larger body than the GSA, but I feel like graduate students are an enormous part of the community, and a lot of graduate students are in turn mentoring the undergraduate students. So I feel the sort of relationship that that brings is definitely a way that we need to be able to collaborate across campus.
And finally, is there anything else you would like to add?
I think I would just want to sort of highlight that being a master's in public health student, I've been able to sort of learn in a very academic setting on what it takes for like well-being of communities. And I think that that experience would allow me to bring sort of evidence-based practice and be able to really ensure that students are getting resources that they need and that they're also looking for. So I think that that opportunity and this experience that I'm getting would make me like a great candidate and in turn a great vice president for well-being and community.
Marlon, thank you very much.
Thank you.